Hello and welcome to the Mirkwood Runner. My name is Chris, and you might notice that my voice and my lips are not moving in sync. That is because I recorded this video earlier and accidentally forgot to unmute my microphone. So I went through the whole video while not recording anything. So I had this good video and I was happy with the results of it, so I figured I would keep it. So this is part 2, or episode 2 I should say, of the Nightmare runs, where I take another stab at Passage Through Mirkwood. So instead of using the Dunedain deck that I'd used previously, I've switched over to a Sylvan deck using the heroes Celeborn, Galadriel, and Elrond. And right now I'm just setting up. My card that I got off the encounter deck for my setup is Force Flies, which I was pretty happy with. Part of this deck is trying to keep people from exhausting so that a lot of the triggers for this deck don't happen. So between cards like Galadriel's ability to bring people in and let them quest without exhausting, and also Light of Valinor, which I just put on Elrond, and cards like the Nath Guide, I am trying to excuse me, try to keep people up as much as possible so that I don't avoid any negative effects. So here I'm going to be using progress tokens to denote that they're getting Celeborn's bonus. Okay, so right now I'm trying to figure out what my questing is going to be. So I'm sending basically everybody but Galadriel, because obviously she can't go on quests by herself without her attachment, which I have not found yet. Between Light of Valinor and the Nath Guide and Galadriel's ability, nobody had to exhaust, which is pretty awesome. So that's going to give me, I believe that is 8 total questing, and right now I have 7 in the staging area. And this was the best card I could ask for at this point, because I was really worried about my willpower since I already had 7 in the staging area, but Necromancer's Reach was perfect. Nobody was exhausted, so no damage there. So great time to get it. I choose not to travel because there's nobody exhausted, so I really couldn't take advantage of it. And I'm okay with keeping the staging area, it in the staging area, especially because I have to take these 2 enemies down. So the Force Flies trigger doesn't happen, so now I'm going to start exhausting. So first go against the Force Spiders 3 attack to Elrond. The Shadow effect does not do anything because it was defended. And now I'm going to have the Nath Guide, I think, wager a defense against the Force Flies. And once again, it survives. Thankfully, Celeborn's boost gives her 1 defense, which is just enough to avoid damage. And just used Galadriel to draw a card, and that's enough to put some damage on these guys. So it's going to take a little bit of time to kill these guys. I have a little bit of indecision on how I want to do this, because Celeborn by himself is not going to be enough to kill either of these guys. So I'll have to deal with them next turn, but luckily the Force Spider will not have the same boost that she did before. Alright, so round 2 starts, and I think I'm going to start by putting on Nenya onto Galadriel so she has that willpower boost. And then I think the next thing I do is I'm going to put the... I'm trying to decide if I want to keep the Galadriel Minstrel out or if I want to put the Handmaiden out. And I think I decided to hold back on putting the Handmaiden out because just in case we have any bad shadow effects, or excuse me, not shadow effects, but any bad treacheries, I want to be able to cancel it. So here I'm looking for an event with the Minstrel, and I whiff. But that's okay. So this time I don't have the Nath Guide allowing Celeborn to stay readied, so I have to decide how I want to do this. I have Elrond and I have the Minstrel that don't have to exhaust. I'm only against 1, so I if I remember correctly, I think I only go with the 5, but I decide. So, well, maybe I went with Kelborn also. There we go. And I guess I did. Okay. And so we get the East Bite Patrol. These guys are kind of nasty. 3 threat, 3 attack, and they're got 5 threats, so they're going to come down pretty quickly. So I decide to use Galadriel there so that I get enough threat or enough willpower to be able to pass through this staging area to get through this. My thought is that, you know, these guys are going... I need to kind of bowl through this as fast as possible, otherwise I'm going to get into trouble. So next spot, Fork in the Road, and here's where I use the Old Forest Road to ready up Celeborn so that he's back up ready to do an attack. And the East Bite Patrol comes down. Alright, so time to do another attack. So this time I have to defend 3 different attacks. The Forest Flies aren't terrible, but, you know, I got to deal with these other guys. So the Forest Flies, nothing happens to that, so Elrond doesn't take any damage. And next I have to decide who I'm going to take the next attack. I got this Forest Flies and the Forest Spiders. So I first have Celeborn defend the Forest Spider. And once again, you know, this quest really punishes you if you take undefended attacks. So it's very beneficial to have a defender. Now here's the part where I decide to do it undefended, which is a mistake. So it's undefended. The shadow effect makes me exhaust all my other characters. Luckily, I decided to wait for that one to last, because had that come out earlier and I had to take another one undefended, that could have been nasty. So I put my undefended damage onto Galadriel, and all my guys are exhausted. I cannot attack back. Next round. So here I get my side quest. This is a new card from the Lost Realm. Put that in the deck just in case I have the opportunity to use it. Play that out for free, and then I'm going to spend some resources to put out the Mirkwood Runner. So I use Galadriel's lore resource from her ring and Elrond's ability to put him out, and that guy is going to be helpful. Right now I've got a lot of guys attacking me, and if I do not attack back and kill something, it's going to be nasty. And as it stands, I don't have a lot of guys that really can do much attacking, which is okay for the Mirkwood Runner, because if he attacks by himself, you don't count any defense. So that he should make quick work of a lot of these guys. So now I'm trying to decide how I want to do it. I'm going to send my minstrel down there, since she really doesn't have much else other than questing to go. I could keep the Nath Guide back because, you know, she does have that attack point. But as it stands, I have nothing in the staging area, and I'm able to send 6 willpower with just 1 guy. So that's not bad. So I got 2 threat in the staging area with the Great Forest Web, which allows me to put 4 progress, which I will spend Galadriel to put enough to clear through the fork in the road. Now it is time to figure out where I'm going to go next. So I use the random number generator in Octagon, and I get, drumroll please, the second one, which is Bjorn's Path. So I don't have to deal with Ungoliant spawn, or at least hopefully I don't have to, in case as long as an Ungoliant spawn doesn't come out, I can just bowl through this. So now I have one location, which I think I pass on traveling, if I remember correctly. But I do think about it for a bit. Still contemplating it. Should I do it? Should I not? Yep, I choose not to. So shadow cards go out. Time to do some attacks. So I decide to sack the East by Patrol. No shadow effect, but 3 attack is enough to kill the Nath Guide. Then I go for the 4 Spider, which once again I send to Celeborn. And no shadow effect, no damage. And last but not least is the Force Flies. And I contemplate whether I should actually take it undefended again. Kind of bit me the last time I did it. So it's kind of a waste to use all of Elrond's, but I decided to do it anyways. No shadow effect. That's okay. So I have 3 attack that's up, so I decide to use it to kill... Which do I kill? I killed the 4 Spider, so it's gone. So it's 1 less. Still have a 1 attack and a 3 attack I have to deal with every turn, but at least I got 1 less enemy I have to deal with. And I got a dedicated defender out, so that should be helpful. So at this point, all I have to do is I have to make 10 progress, and then I've got the game. Obviously, if I don't, if I get an Ungoliant spawn, then I'm in trouble. But here's hoping that's not the case. So put out a Defender to the Nath and a Galadriel's Handmaiden. So I get some more willpower out there, really pushing it this turn. So this turn I send out Celeborn for 3, another 3 from Elrond, and then my 2 allies I just put out for a total of 10. And of course I have another 4 that I can add if I use Galadriel. And I get the Spider's Mirkwood. Now these guys are very interesting, and especially with this deck, it's not as nasty as it can be. But when you have these, high ally decks that have a lot of characters questing, it can be fairly nasty, because every time you have somebody exhausted, that adds to their attack value. So here I'm able to put 5 progress on there. I decided not to use Ninya and Galadriel because it would add another person exhausted, which would increase their attack, and it wouldn't get me through it anyway, so I figure I can do it next turn. So now I'm having the trick that they're already at 3 attack as it is, and I'm going to have to defend with somebody, which is going to increase their attack by yet another one, so they'll be attacking for 4. I could use one of my allies to chump it, but I decide to go with Elrond. He'll take 1 damage for sure, and actually he takes 2 because I have to exhaust somebody. So after I take this effect into play, that's going to be 5 attack that they get, which will be 2 damage onto Elrond. So right now I'm just trying to decide who to do it, and I ended up going with the Minstrel. So I figure I can still use Galadriel for something. So 2 damage on Elrond, still not the end of the world, but I've at least got it there. So now I've got the Defender of the Nath. I'm going to have defend the Eastbite Patrol. and I have to pull out the topmost shadow card from the encounter discard pile. So I start pulling through those deck cards. And I get the Forest Spider, so I have to discard one attachment I control. And at this point I decide to drop Olorian. I'm doing pretty good on resources. I still have one resource on Elrond, and I've got Ninya out, and I'm in pretty good shape, so I'm not too concerned about losing it at this point. And there are other copies of it if need be, so defend the Handmaiden to the Forest Spiders, no damage, and time to attack back. So I first use Galadriel to draw a card, which lo and behold is Henemarth Riversong. Great card to see right now because I can scry the deck and see what's coming towards me. And I've also got my runner up to attack back. Now he's only attacking for 2 this turn, but that should be enough to kill the East by Patrol. So I'm finally rid of their attack. And hopefully this will be my last turn of attacking. So if I can just quest through, all I need is 5 more progress and no Ungoliant spawn. I draw the Lembas, which is fine. I got those in there basically to heal up my 2 Noldor heroes. I got Galadriel and Elrond. For all my Sylvans, I use the it's the Sylvan Tracker, I believe is its name. Use him to try to go through and get all these, heal them up. But since I don't have any built-in healing for them, I just use the Lembas in that case. I guess I could use the Daughter of the Nimrodel to do the same thing, and it's a Sylvan, so I get that synergy. But whatever. I get the readying effect out of this too. So first I do is I exhaust Henemarth to look at the top card, and it is a Dol Guldur Beastmaster, so I am ecstatic. I know that I'm not going to have to worry about any cards hurting me for exhausting characters, so I go all out. Everybody that can do it. I get a little overzealous, and I exhaust my Archer, even though he doesn't have to. So I've got more than enough willpower at this point. I know what's happening. I could, spend some time and, play out. Well, I can't play the Lembas at this point because I don't have a lore resource, but, I'm good as it is. I know what I've got 4 there versus 15 in there, and I just blow through the quest. So this was really nice. I was much happier with this play session than the last one. I really was not prepared for it, but then again, I had just pulled a deck out and started playing with it. This one I deck built a bit more. I knew that this quest punished you for having exhausted characters, and that it would just be in my best interest to have them available. So right now I'm just kind of looking at where my other cards were. I had Self-Preservation, another healing card that I figured I'd try out for this quest. Had some tree people that I never pulled out. And but in general, I was pretty happy. There's my Sylvan Tracker I had mentioned. That was supposed to be my healing for my Sylvan heroes, but didn't need it. So in general, I'm happy with the results of it, and that was it. So, here I'm just kind of giving my outro here, and thank you so much to everybody who watched this video. Had an issue on the first Nightmare Run video, and I had another issue here. So I promise at some point I'm going to fix all my audio issues, but I appreciate you listening. Please, thumbs this up. Give me any comments you want in the comments below, and I will see you next time. Thank you.